All right, a lot is happening in the world of hospice and palliative care, and it's happening fast. So today we're going to break down 3 really big updates that you absolutely need to know about. We've got a game-changing new law for our veterans, a huge effort to keep the system honest, and a major leadership shakeup in Texas that could change everything. So let's dive right in.
So you might be asking, what's really shaping the future of hospice care right now? Well, we're going to get into it. We'll look at a new law that finally rights a wrong for our veterans. We'll also unpack how the industry is stepping up to fight fraud. And then we're going to zero in on a leadership change in Texas that gives us a glimpse of what's coming down the pipeline for state-level care. First up, let's talk about our veterans.
Okay, so our first major update. This one is incredibly important. It's about fixing something that, frankly, should have been fixed a long time ago. It has everything to do with how we honor our veterans when they need it most.
You see, for way too long, there was this just heartbreaking gap in the benefits system. Think about it. A veteran decides to spend their last days at home, surrounded by family, under hospice care. And because of that choice, their family could be denied the VA burial benefits they were promised. I mean, can you imagine? This loophole puts so much financial and emotional stress on families when they were already going through the absolute worst.
And look, this isn't just some abstract policy debate. This is about real people. The whole movement to get this changed really gained steam because of one man's story. His name was Gerald Jerry Elliott, a veteran from Michigan. When he passed away at home, his family was hit with this exact problem. Their fight, their struggle to properly honor him became the wake-up call that everyone needed to fix this broken system.
And the solution? It's called Gerald's Law. It was signed into law in January 2024, and it does exactly what it's supposed to do. It closes that loophole, period. Now the VA is required to provide burial and funeral allowances for veterans who die while getting VA hospice care, whether they're at home or in another setting. It's really that simple. It's about making sure our veterans are treated with the dignity and respect they earned, no matter where they are at the end of their lives.
So Gerald's Law is a huge win, fixing a very specific, very important problem. But now, let's zoom out a bit and look at the bigger picture, the health of the entire hospice system. And that brings us to our next topic. Program integrity.
You know, as hospice care becomes more common, which is a good thing, it also becomes a bigger target. So the big challenge for everyone in the field is this. How do you protect the program from the bad apples, the fraud, the waste, the abuse, without making it impossible for the good providers to do their jobs? It's a really delicate balancing act.
So, what's the plan? Well, the Alliance for Care at Home has come up with a really smart 5-point framework to tackle this head-on. First, they want to use things like AI for more targeted oversight, basically catch the problems before they blow up. Second, they're calling for beefed-up enrollment controls, making it harder for sketchy providers to get into the system in the first place. Third is better monitoring after enrollment, because you've got to keep an eye on things. And finally, they want to standardize how contractors are overseen and make public reporting way more transparent. It's a full-court press to make the whole system smarter and more accountable.
Now, having a great framework is one thing, but you also need strong leadership to make it all happen. And that's the perfect segue to our next big update, which is coming out of Texas. There's been a new appointment that could have some really big implications for the entire industry. So, let's talk about Stephanie Muth. She's the new Executive Commissioner of the Texas Health and Human Services Commission, HHSC for short. And let me tell you, this is a huge job. We're talking about overseeing a massive array of health services in one of the biggest states in the country. And her resume? It's pretty impressive and super relevant here. She's got more than 2 decades in state government. She was the state Medicaid director. This is someone who knows how to handle big, complex systems. She's led huge reorganization efforts and helped modernize things like Medicaid and SNAP. That kind of experience, knowing how to untangle these massive, complicated programs, is exactly what you need to drive real change in a sector like hospice care.
Okay, so we've got new laws, new integrity frameworks, new leadership. There are a lot of moving pieces right now. So where does the conversation go from here? How does everyone stay on top of all this? Well, for a lot of folks in the field, the answer is getting together at a big annual conference.
And the countdown is officially on. We are talking about the 44th Annual Texas and New Mexico Hospice and Palliative Care Conference. This is a really big deal. It's where all the professionals get together to hash out these exact issues and figure out what's next.
So if you want to be in the room where it happens, mark your calendars. It's going down March 4th through the 6th, 2026 in Round Rock, Texas. Seriously, if you want to understand where the industry is headed, this is the place to be.
And that really brings us full circle. We've seen the landscape is definitely shifting, right? From new federal laws to state leadership changes to these big pushes for program integrity. So I'm going to leave you with this question to think about. With all of this going on, how is it all going to impact your work, your practice, and most importantly, the people you care for?